Peace to the God and peace to the goddesses. Welcome to another broadcast of In the Circle Ministry. This is our virtual YouTube ministry, and I'm your host, Rico Blakeney. Here on this channel, this is our, like I said, our virtual YouTube ministry, where we take things and put them up under the microscope. And you can see things you normally couldn't see with the naked eye. There's a scripture that's in the Bible, and there's also another teaching about the single lie. But inside of the Bible, it says that if thine eye be single, then thy body be full of light. And that is our goal, and that is our aim to do. And so as we put things up under the microscope, we make our plural eyes single. And we can see things up under the microscope that we couldn't see with the normal eye. And once we see those things in the truth for what they are up under the microscope, then we can take them and apply them to our life to get the results that we desire. It's a little chilly down here in the basement, so I'm bundled up for this video, but it's all good. We're going to continue to press on and get done what we need to get done here. So, one of the things the thing we're going to be talking about today is more catered for the In the Circle University that you should be able to find the link to in our descriptions below at the bottom. And we're going to be talking about the straw man. This is something for beginners. I think before you get into this space or while you're entering into this space, there's certain things you'll have to learn and certain things that you'll need to know to help you go forward into understanding what you're getting into. And the difference a little in between the private and the public. And also you can find that in my YouTube video list. I'm not sure if it's an upload or a live, but it may be one of the both. But search through the list that I have through my videos and my live and find the video about the difference between public and private. But today we're talking about the straw man, just for beginners. And as we go through, I'll be pulling up certain information and sharing certain information, and doing it a little different from what most people and how they would normally do the the straw man teaching or showing you or introducing you to your straw man. I'll be doing it in a different way where you should be able to see your straw man in a real life scenario, actual usage of it, not knowing that's what it is. But once you see it that way, you should be able to see it in the way that they normally teach it or the other way that I'm going to explain it. But, so like I said before, some of the information or some of the definitions of things, I'll be pulling up off my phone and reading them out to you outside of some of the screens there. But some of the stuff I've already got into the Adobe, and I've uploaded a couple things. I started to just do the whole Adobe video and then upload that, but I want to do a more personal touch. But anyway, well, I want to thank you guys for coming out. Thank you for those that would come in and watch the video. Ask you to like, subscribe to the channel, and share the information if your heart feels so. So without any further ado, let me try to share. Let me share my screen here and see can we pull up what we want to pull up about the straw man. I would like to share it. I'm gonna do it just that way I can make sure that. So yeah, here. I think what I'm gonna do is thank you guys. I'll see it. Yeah. Um, pull this back, get it back beginning, and may just do it just okay. A straw man is a third party that holds property in intermission for the sole purpose of other words like that that if you just believe that you know what they are, look them up in the legal terms to find out what it means. So I'm just going to pull up the word intermission here for now on my phone and see what it says about what it is. What is the legal definition for intermission? Intermission is not a legal term, but it can refer to a break between parts of the performance. Intermission, okay, it says it's a break between parts of a performance or activity. And so with that, as you'll see as we go through here, you'll hear about the performance or the activity that's going on. So keep that in mind that this intermission is for that there. For the sole purpose of transferring it to another. In property law, a straw man would be the person whom a grantor transferred land to for some reason, sometimes known as a front, for the sole purpose of fulfilling the true owner. And I'm gonna see if I can continue to pull this up. And so it is saying that it is something like a front, meaning that it's not real. It is a fake CI, or maybe not CI, but it's not a real live actual thing. It's something to be made to look like or to be used as if it was a real thing. Um, so sort of a mirage in a sense, but known as a front for the sole purpose of fulfilling the true owner. Any transactions where there is a party representing another in a purchase where the property will be transferred is a straw man transaction. In the past, to create a proper joint tenancy where one joint tenant already owned interest, it was first necessary to convey the property to a straw man. To a straw man to convey the interest of the property to the ultimate grantees as joint tenants. So real quick, let me scroll back up here and let's break this down a little more. So they're saying they're creating a fake entity for the intermission or the actions or to break up the action. So this right here was saying one that this is like for buying or purchasing land or homes or whatever. Whenever you're in the transaction of um, purchasing a home, someone's going to be selling it, and you're going to be the one purchasing it. But there's already a real grantee involved. And as we go through this, we're going to show you who the real grantee is. But this is why the straw man is created, so as that this original grantee can actually have interaction with the real live individual. And so you notice also it says that, uh, and the way they put it here, this right here was a legal definition I pulled up. That they said that the straw man would be the person whom a grantor transferred land to for some reason, as if it's not known, or just as if it's just for some reason or another. This is why it's done. But there are certain reasons why they create these straw men in order to transfer uh, the assets or the home. There's uh, most time with mortgages or anything else that we deal with, there's two two sides of the coin. One is a equitable interest, and the other one is a possessionary. And a lot of times we are under the influence that once we purchase a home or while we're in the process of purchasing a home, that we have equitable interest as well. But the truth of the matter is you only have possessionary interest that's attached in this contract. So this is why strawman is created, um, and we're getting more into details into the why it's created and what they're using it for, or why and what it will be for. and they call it a straw man transaction. Um, so it says that in the past, create proper joint tenancy where one joint tenant already owned interest. It was first necessary to convey the property to the straw man, then to convey the interest of the property to the ultimate grantees as joint tenants. So if you look at your mortgage and check it out, and you will see that you are a tenant, and if you are on there with your wife, there was a straw man created, so as you would be joint tenants indeed. So this this part of the interest that you would be receiving would be more so of the possessionary interest, not the equitable interest. Joint tenancy where one joint tenant already owned interest. It was first necessary to convey the property to a straw man, then to convey the interest of the property to the ultimate grantees as joint tenants. So the ultimate grantees that straw man is being created for is going to be you and the state. State actually owns all property. Whenever you do get a mortgage or do something, or even not even a mortgage, or you buy property, you're going to have to register it back to the state and let the state know who is the tenant or the occupant or the one that has the possessionary interest in it. Now, with the possessionary interest that comes in it, you also are liable for taxes on that possessionary interest. It works the same way with your vehicles or whatever. You go down there and you register your car. You're registering it to the state, and that's why the state can take your car if you get pulled over and locked up for certain reasons or whatever that may be. And once those things take place, then the state is able to take the car and charge you to get the car back. Say if you never get pulled over or do whatever, you're reliable for the upkeep of it. You're reliable for the taxes on it, the repairs, and so this is only possessionary, not the equitable. So with that possessionary interest comes with the responsibility of paying the taxes, which are only been able to be conveyed to you also through the program, which we will talk about later on in the video. And hope this hasn't been too. And so this is why they do it as well. A straw man transaction was necessary because the grantee had to acquire their interest at the same time to form a unity of time and have the unity of title, same method of conveying. These two elements from joint tenancy. The straw man is also a logical fallacy in an argument used with the intention of distracting from the original topic. So with that, understand that all this stuff was done to distract you from knowing that you never did and you don't have equitable interest or equitable, equitable interest in this transaction. It was taken away from you at the same time and given back to the state. So, real quick, it tells you plain as day that a straw man transaction was necessary because the grantee had to acquire their interest, your state and your state government and all those things. No matter if you're down on the county level on up, this is where all of the grantees step into place from the county to the state and down back to the federal. So these are the grantees. Most of the time, you would think it would be the person that's selling it to you, but it's not. But they're involved as one of the grantees, and it's going to relieve them of the possessionary obligation and interest, and it will be conveyed unto you. So we're going to look up this word conveyance real quick. What is the legal definition of conveyance? In legal terms, conveyance is a reason for termination or action that is not for a specific cause. It can also refer to the common law rules of prioritizing conveyance and fairness. Let's see if we find anything else. Termination of conveyance says that a contractual right to end an argument for any reason other than for cause, also known as a termination without cause. The terminating party usually needs to provide written notice before the termination is effective. Relative conveyance doctrine, a legal principle that allows a court to deny an injunction, and that would be um, uh, what we're talking about here. But a rule of conveyance is a common law rule that states a class of people like descendants can be discriminated without, can be distributed without being closed until the principal distribution. The rule is intended to be fair and convenient. So let me see what the legal definition of conveyance in a court. And all of this is contract law. All of this deals with contract law. Um, there's all different types of contracts that you can have, implied, um, written, or there's different variations of contract law, and you have the right to contract. It's one of your God-given private rights to contract unlimitedly as many times and with whomever you choose to. One of the definitions for that, it says that a mortgage payment fee, which is sometimes referred to as a conveyance fee, processing fees, or phone online fee, is a fee tacked on by mortgage lenders when borrowers pay through a certain platform. That isn't what I was looking for. But what they're doing is the conveyance is being done in between the titles, like I was talking about earlier, the equitable title and the more so the equitable title, and then the conveyance of you being given veterinary um, interest in it as well. So with the straw man as well, with every interaction that you're going to have, the government uses this straw man and for all types of conveyance. And the conveyance is just a way to travel for your paperwork, or the way that they do things on paper. And you can move and change. I think they call them vehicles. Like once once you have a mortgage and you have a promissory note, the promissory note goes to many conveyance. It's going to be changed and put into a pool. And your promissory note, 9 times out of 10, the mortgage company still do not have the mortgage and the note together, which is a part of them having legal standing um, to prove that they have any possessionary or equitable interest in the property. That the mortgage and the promissory note must stay together. But what happens is once you um, get your mortgage, you sign it over, sign the paperwork at the closing table, then that mortgage, depending on your credit, depending on the value of that promissory note, depends on uh, which way that it's sold or which pool it's put into. It's going to be put into a pool with other like mortgage, other like credit qualifications and things of that nature. So, well, like whenever we had our home, it would have been 6 weeks that we were. I'm not going to name the company, but through the mortgage company we were going through, it wasn't going through a bank. It was a mortgage company, and it was sold to Freddie Mac, or the Fannie Mae one or two, but I think it was Freddie Mac. It was sold to Freddie Mac within 6 weeks in a service improvement. So mine and a bunch of more hundreds of others just like that. Then once it's conveyed over to that pool, it's no longer a promissory note, but it becomes something like a stock. And then these stocks and bonds can be traded and sold. And the people who still say they have the equitable interest, the original grantees that we talked about earlier, these guys are able to collect money off of those things, off of your promissory note, which is no longer substantial days or something else. So um, I think I've already went over that. Yes, yes. Oh, okay. So with that thing there too, the ultimate grantee, the joint tenant, the straw man transaction has necessarily become the grantee had to acquire their interest at the same time to form a unity of time and have the unity of title. So the equitable title is what the state is going to have, or the county is going to have that's given to the state. That's you know also with the federal government being tied up with it as well. So it's done at the same time. That straw man is created at the same time in order for these things to be done. And if you look at your note or your mortgage, you're going to see that the way that they have your name written and styled, um, that is the straw man that they're created. For me, it was my name and the word "and" in between my wife, and it says husband and wife at the end. So that is a straw man. It's not me. Then it is not also my wife, but it's all combined as one word. So I'm just going to use for the reference of this video that it is called John Doe and Jane Doe, husband and wife, as joint tenants. So that there is a name in the operating, uh, uh, that is the straw man's name. And there was another word I was looking for that utility, something like that. It's used for utility. But anyway, that is what a straw man is created, and how it's done, and how the state and the government is able to attain their interest, equitable interest, and have the unity of title as well, because it's going to be registered title back into the county recorder office, back to the state, with you being the tenant. And if you know a couple of things about the word tenant, you're not the owner. Tenant is the one that rents. If you are a homeowner, or if you own the property, then you rent out a portion of that property, or you rent out the whole property, then those people who rent the property are called tenants. So that, so understand the law, the jargon and the words that they're using to describe what goes on in most land laws. I think that's what it says at the beginning of this. So you're still not owner. Um, Even though you're paying the mortgage, and you feel like you've had a check from the bank and you're just paying back the monetary, or the monetary portion back, and you actually own the home. You don't own the home. You're just a tenant, and the state owns the home. So that is a form of a straw man that's created in a way that most people may be able to see it, and I hope that you're able to see it without uh, clearly, with all of me, my best, trying to do my best to describe a lot of the things here. So, in a simple way for beginners, the straw man is created whenever you're purchasing land or you're purchasing cars. Check out the paperwork and the title, work that was done for you to get the deed for the home or the title for your car. If the straw man is created and it looks like you, it sounds like you, but it's also the only way that the corporations can actually deal with the flesh, blood living individual. A company, or the United States corporation, and the corporation can only deal with corporations. They can't deal with a different person. So in order to do that, the straw man is a corporation that may um, buy this corporation out the United States. So with that being said, let me go on down further, and we're gonna understand what a mortgage is: a dead pledge, and let's look at a deed. If you look up the word mortgage or the definition for the mortgage, it is a dead pledge. What is a dead pledge? Because it's a pledge made through your straw man. Your straw man has no life in it. It is just a front. It is a fake. It is a phony. It's put out just to be a transmitting utility. That's the word I looked for earlier. And it's transmitting utility purposes to transfer the interest and possession interest in things or ownership in things to the government and other entities as well. So your straw man is a vehicle for the transmitting utilities. And the utilities dealing with that can be mostly with the ownership or the possessionary ownership, so as the taxation can be transferred. So this right here is a copy of my actual mortgage. I changed some things around for the names and the number of the price for the house or whatever, just to show you what it actually shows inside of there. And it says, "Know all men by these present, that John Doe and Jane Doe, here in after, whether singular or plural, referred to as the grantor." So there's one of the grantors, not the grantees, but the same thing as the grantor, in the state or foresee. And before we go further, look at the way that the word state is written. Anytime you see the word state written in capital letter, no matter where it's at in the sentence, they're actually talking about the physical state. So for where I'm at, it is the state of South Carolina. And so when you see these things here, it's letting you know that this is the other grantor or grantee straw man was created for. So your state, just like the United States uh, corporation, so is your state as a corporation, depending on how the verbiage and how you use it. If they're talking about the physical location or they're talking about the governmental straw man state. Hold on one second. Hello?
I was up.
What's going on?
But what you doing that slip six years I told you to slide up on the door? You ain't ever do it?
Yeah, I sit up under the door.
Which one? Which door?
The door closest to the double doors to coming into the plant where I work at. Where I see Randy sitting at every night.
Up under that door.
Yep.
That's you know man, motherfucker be lying like this. Cause they ain't pay for my seat there. I just got off the phone ready. I ain't seen up on the door. Man, you lying.
Yeah,
And why you lying on my damn face? You lying like this?
yep.
All right, I just want to say, I told my I see the door, man. What you mean? I hung up on his face.
Yep. Yeah,
Hung up on his ass.
yeah, he bullshit. Cause I slid that something up, I unfolded it and made sure it slid up under the door.
All right. I just want to say,
Okay, cuz.
all right.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. But this is more legal, the way they write things legally. Same way we do with trust and dentist and things of that nature. They have verbiage in there where you think it may be normal writing, but they have a different definition. Even though uh, you may think that it has a normal or a normal definition, but it doesn't. It has a different definition, like the word may. If you look it up in legal dictionaries, it means that you must. May mean must in legal terms. Same way, you understand that a charge is basically a lien. You know, if you've been charged with something, they put a lien on straw man, and you're still the one that has possessionary obligations to pay or to uphold for that charge or that lien. Um, but before I get too far ahead into that, let's continue here. It says, "Knowing all men by these present," meaning that from this point going forward, by this presentation of this document and the writing in this document, that John Doe and Jane Doe, hereinafter, meaning that from this point going forward and after, whether singular or plural, referred to as grantors. That now that this is the in a sense the conveyance from spiritual, physical, flesh and blood individual to the uh, to the straw man, which has no more than a front. It just looks and appears to be um, alive, living, breathing, but it's not. It's grantor in the state of South Carolina aforesaid, meaning that from now on and going forward, it is said for and in consideration of 100. Do I have more in here? that $100,000 have granted bargains, and I'm going to go to the next page, sold and released, and by this present do grant bargain sale and release unto the said Chris Jones and Kim Jones as tenants in common, and upon the death of, it could be of, either of them, to the survivor thereof, their respective heirs and assigns. And later on, you'll find out the heirs and assigns are the mortgage companies and the people who will be servicing your loan. Because they're only dealing with the straw man. They're not really dealing with you. They only deal with you for the payment of what the straw man owes. So they were saying here that going forward, that this is the name of the people who are filling. This is a straw man thing that's called the grantor. That grantor and the state or grantees, grantor, same thing, federal or you know, trust law. Those are trust definition. Those are the same individuals. It's just a different way of saying it. Federal, grantor, and grantee. So these people are surveying to your straw man, and two, for in consideration of the $100,000 have granted, comma, bargain, comma, and most time in normal English that would be either or, but that all of this has been done in the same time. It's been granted, it's been bargained, it's been sold and released. And by this present do grant, bargain, sale, and release unto the said Chris Jones and Kim Jones as tenants and common, and upon the death of either of them. So now this is what we were talking about earlier about tenants and deeds. So now you have the two tenants, these people who have just now had a straw man created for them, and it was granted, bargained, and it was sold unto them, and it was also transferred right back to the state for the equitable, for the possessionary interest for Chris Jones and Kim Jones. Now they are the new tenants common, common law. And upon the death of either of them, to the survivor thereof, their respective heirs and assigns. So you would think that the heirs and the assigns would be your kids if you're married, or to whoever you leave it behind to, if you left it to guy down the street as an inheritance. But what whoever these people are here, most of all, those that are going to be responsible for the taxes, the upkeep, and the payment, because they have possessionary expenses. So that's the only thing they're able to keep out of the grant, the bargain, sale. Okay? Now, we're going to talk about the birth certificate. Now that you can kind of see what the straw man does and how it's created and what it was created for, to convey over the property and the land and the things of that nature that you're actually dealing with, that you're actually dealing with, that how you would be under the concept that you only owe the bank, and they are the only one you will have to pay back this money, that you have equitable interest in it as well, because you brought skin to the game, you brought money to the table. But all of that equitable interest is already been uh, conveyed to the straw man and transferred, granted, sold, and released to the state by way of the county. That makes sense. And you just have possession there. So the real physical person, the flesh and blood human being that you are, you're stuck with the possessionary possession, and with that comes the obligation of, of taxes, upkeep, and things like that. So we're not going to go too much into mortgages and how those things work, but that was my rendition of showing you what a straw man looks like in a legal, actual work. So you can actually see that there is such thing as a straw man. But before they can actually use that straw man, because it is the secondary straw man, there's the one that they create just for the what I said earlier, for the utility, uh, that was the way for them to use it as another way of surveillance, using it for another vehicle to allow them to take more things out of the private and put it into the public. Um, so with your birth certificate, what happened with it is if you have one, if you don't have your own made and have it notarized and copied and have it authenticated, 99.9% of the people have one from the hospital. If they don't have a birth at the hospital, they take their information and go to their local Department of Health and Services. We call it DHEC down here. I don't know what else it's called in other states. But you take that information of the child, and once you take them that information, they're taking the name that you're giving that child, the weight, size, and all the full description of that child, the mother and the father's name. They convert it into a birth certificate. Now, the birth certificate is just the evidence or the straw man that's been created. So the straw man is the birth certificate is created on bond paper as well, but it is the state who creates this birth certificate. They take that information that you would give them from the hospital where they have the parent, the mother or the father, they're called informants. They're informing them about this information that they have. So now they have this information from their informant. They're going to create a straw man that looks and has the same identity, and has the same birth date, and has the same description as the living person. It is a front in order for the government to have possessionary and equitable interest all the way around the board. And so this is their um, baby corporation, what I would call it. This is their subsidiary trust. This is their smaller trust created out of the big trust. Um, so they make their small corporation, and this is their straw man. As I say, if you're John Doe, born 1/11, 1998, uh, to such and such parents of such and such race and yada yada yada. Now that they've created, and whenever you see that, it's going to be in all caps. Same way corporations. Whenever you see a corporation or deal with a corporation, or you deal with any government entity, everything that they have is written in all capitals. All capitals, just like the mortgage is a dead pledge. It is something showing that it is an actual corporation. You will have to check out some things in the what's the name of the book, the GPO style manual. It'll show you the way that how they style their writings and how they use it. And if you notice on your birth certificate, social security card, driver license, anything you get from the government is going to be in all capitals. That is the front. That is the straw man. That is the transmitting utility vehicle that they can use to do the same thing we talked about in the mortgage. So at the same time, they can get interest uh, and the possessionary interest at the same time. So after the birth certificate, you're going to get a social security card. And the social security card, if you look on the back of it, you'll see that they tell you that this isn't your number. This is basically it's a straw man number. They don't tell you that, but they tell you that this isn't your number, not fair, not true, whatever. And if you ever decided to not use it, return it back to them, or if it's lost and found, return it back to them. And if you look on the bottom, on the front, the black line that you sign your name on, if you can get it and put it on your phone and squill it up, it says authorized representative or authorized rep. And that is actually the person that is signing on top of it. They are the authorized representative for that straw. Now that birth certificate straw man that they create, as I said earlier, is a corporation, and its account number or its ID number, or they call it a social security number, is the social. So that now what you use 9 times out of 10 to purchase or to do anything with. This is your identifying number. You have identified yourself with the straw man and you handle business with the straw man. So this is how they're able to collect taxes and do everything else. Because once you do those things, your social security number shows that you are a U.S. citizen. So once you are a U.S. citizen is obligated to pay taxes and things of that nature. They're required to register all things back to the state. So it is its only sole purpose. So with that, um, this is where most times people preach and teach about the straw man. That at birth, you'll get created a straw man that looks and acts or looks just like you, identical to you. So I wanted to try to show you it in another form so you can see it actually in action. So hopefully it helps you understand this right here because without the birth certificate straw man being created with social security attached to it, then you couldn't most time you can't purchase anything for its land and do all these other things. Um, they're gonna need this. Now there's other ways of living in the private where you can have other entities that have EINs and things of that nature and has different numbers that are just the same amount of numbers. There are 9 in those numbers as well, but it allows you to operate in a different status or in a different position. You can have the right to have your own. Keep skipping my mind. Uh, the same thing I was saying about utility. You have the right to create your own thing so as you can use it to utilize the transmission utility. And so now your trust can be your transmission utility. The EINs that you have for your transmission utility is something that the private individuals always use in the public. And if you look at most of the richest people in the world are these corporations, most of them are operating up under EINs, up under trust, and up under other transmission utilities instead of these social, which belongs to the United States Corporation. So we offer other things inside of these teachings, and we do go more in depth in the private about these things and how to utilize your own transmitting utility. Just wanted you to see that if you're using your social, which is given to you based off of your birth certificate, that this is all corporately owned by the United States Corporation, not the United States of America of the Republic, but the corporate United States. And so even with that, you have to understand that the corporate United States this isn't just a corporation, but they use corporations to handle their business as far as the federal government, the Federal Reserve, the IRS are all corporations that are utilized inside of the corporation of the United States. These are their subcontractors who do their business. So understanding that there's a straw man and you have a straw man, there's other ways to address this and how to maneuver through life, how to separate yourself, how to correct your status, and to live out the rest of your life up under your corrected status and not the one that's up under the U.S. citizen where you lose your equitable title. In the private, you're able to retain your equitable and possessionary. Uh, you're able to control your equitable and your possessionary title through trust and other bills and such. So if there's something that has sparked your interest, go to the descriptions in the bottom of the video and you can be able to find information inside the Inner Circle University where you become a private member and you have access to me and other members inside of the group and those that I'm affiliated with that will help you get your life set up in a way where you can quit living as a front. You can quit fronting in life. You can live your life as the way you want to. So you can actually own nothing and control everything. That's another thing you are hearing this later on inside of this movement as you grow. The same way the government created their straw man, so as they can own nothing, control everything. So he who owns has liability. The liability lies on him that owns. So if you own something, you are responsible for it. It's just that in the private, we'll be able to set you up to whereas those things can be done in the same like manner. You're able to capitalize on your life, your equitable interest in things, and your possessionary interest in things. And you're able to actually leave them behind to your heirs and those that you have assigned things to instead of those that you would do it in the public with, and you're going to be taxed and always going to be governed by those. So thank you for coming out. Thank you for watching the video. Like I said, don't forget to check in the descriptions and find the contact information. We have other things in the description as far as like Dr. Gray's. That's another great tool for in the private that you can utilize to help yourself win in court without a lawyer. And we also have a donation button as well where you can donate to the ministry, virtual YouTube ministry, where all those proceeds will go into paying the bills of the that it takes to run this, as far as the cable bill, the internet bill, um, things of that nature, buying more equipment and upgrading equipment and having more platforms to work with, or other stream platforms that I can do more work with. But it all be going back to just for the purpose of me getting more information out. And if you have any thoughts, questions, or opinion as well, leave them in the comments of the uploaded video, and I will get back to you either through the comments on the video or either a way of creating another video. But thank you, Al, for coming out. So peace to the God and the goddesses. This has been this was brought to you by In the Circle Ministries, which is a part also of the In the Circle University. So here's to you guys, and thank you for coming out. I would like to give you a round of applause for making it through the video, and hope this has been helpful for you, beginners. And like I say, if it was too much for one time in one setting, and if I lost you anywhere, I do have free consultations. So when you go into the In the Circle University, overlook those prices, because those prices are for those that are already in it and already operating in the private, or have already stepped out into the water, and they're going to need great in-depth information. But if you're curious, if you're just getting started and you'd like to know more about it, then up to a 30-minute to an hour free consultation. And after that, it's a $50 consultation once you start to actually moving inside. But once you become a private member, you have more access, and you can save your consultation money and join us every 2 weeks when we have our group meetings. And those questions can be asked in the private. They won't be asked or discussed in the public. So as I said before, this is for you. That was me on my exit out. Love you. Peace to the God and peace to the goddesses. Thank you for joining us again. You guys have a great day, a great night, wherever you're at and wherever you're at.